Hi everybody, I'm Seth Soloway. I'm the executive director here at Spruce Peak Arts, and we're here for another episode, evening of Spruce Peak Unplugged. We're thrilled tonight to have Mr. Matt Quinn from Mount Joy. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to try not to fanboy out too much as we have this conversation.
God, man, well, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
It's such a pleasure. Thank you for doing it. It's a new series, and we're really grateful for artists to come and share this unique experience with the audience. So I'll just start with, you've gotten to enjoy Spruce Peak a little bit. What do you think? What are your impressions of Spruce Peak and our cool little theater here?
Beautiful theater. Obviously, the sort of landscape speaks for itself. Driving up, it's pretty awe-inspiring to drive into, and then come in here and you guys have a beautiful theater, which is, I don't know, it's immediately welcoming as an artist and excited to play some tunes.
So many of the audience members tonight, I'm sure, including myself, have enjoyed seeing your band Mount Joy in really big venues, with the full band, but never got the chance to see you play solo. I've never seen you play solo. Can you talk a little bit about yourself as a soloist and maybe give a little sense of what's going to be different tonight?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I love playing with the band. It's been like the joy of my life to have those experiences and play with my friends and just feel like we've accomplished so much together. But I think for me, it's just a new challenge in a fun way, because this is where a lot of the songs start. Me with an acoustic guitar and sort of a silly idea or something that gets turned into a song that people will hear in this forum tonight, where it's just me and an acoustic guitar. And then, of course, I'm super fortunate. I bring ideas like that to some of the best musicians on the planet. They turn it into the whole thing that is Mount Joy. But I think there is something to be said for sort of the intimacy of, where those songs came from, and stripping it back to see what that feels like too.
How is your preparation for a show like this different than when you're out with the band, in terms of your own rehearsing, but also do you construct the set list with a different thought?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is thinking about what works and what kind of doesn't without the band. So that's the biggest part of it, is oh man, well, there's a drum break here that I'm gonna have to beatbox if I, and maybe that would be cool, but thinking about certain songs like that I think could really work just by myself. And then, I think mixing in some covers, because I think the thing I've learned from having a couple of these experiences is just the more that you can make the people in the audience the band, just connect in this way where it's look, I'm up here with an acoustic guitar, that there's a level of intrigue to my songwriting, hopefully, and hopefully that carries you for a little bit. But then it's kind of boring if it's just me song after song doing that. I think the more, obviously, hopefully people know those songs and sing along, but the more playing songs that you really think people know, it just makes it more fun. I mean, to me, that's what got me into music, is that sort of exchange of picking up a guitar and playing and having people around you sing and be a part of it. So yeah, I think it's about finding a mixture where you're maximizing the people that are there too.
That's great, and I love that, Matt, because there's one of the big goals of this is for the folks to have an experience with an artist they love that they wouldn't have had anywhere else and maybe aren't going to have again. And I agree. I mean, personally, those covers, when you hear Jim James do Rocket Man or something,
sure.
I mean, those covers, they stand out in a special way, because you're not going to see it when it's a full Mount Joy concert.
Sure, yeah.
So I really love that. So with digging a little deeper into that, of course, the fans are going to be taken in by the covers and certain things, but you do this all the time. Of course, I don't have to tell you, the fans want to hear the hits, and certainly Mount Joy fans are going to come here tonight, and they're going to be looking for certain songs. Is there anything that might surprise folks tonight in terms of looking at a song and going, "Oh, there's no way he could do that solo"? And are there certain things that are just off the table for you because you can't do them without the band?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anything's truly off the table if you're imaginative enough about kind of rearranging it. But yeah, I mean, I think certain things from a Mount Joy perspective are best left for the five of us. And yeah, I think I kind of do this in a way too, because I do the Mount Joy thing often. And I love to do it, but it becomes a thing where it's kind of fun to even like, you know, there's one song I'm going to do tonight that I haven't done solo yet that is a big Mount Joy song. I don't know if people are going to, I can spoil it, I guess.
You
right?
can, they won't see this till after, yeah.
So I really typically don't do Julia because there's a lot of sort of like rhythmic, like band is really a huge part of that, and the sort of groove of it is a huge part of it. But I was kind of like, you know, it would just be fun to like try and see what I can do on my own, see if I can carry that tune, because it's a tune that I know people like and that I know I like to play. So kind of it's like, it depends on how brave you are, sort of, you know? It's like, like I said before, I think, it's like, there are some parts where, oh, you'd have to beatbox, but it's like, well, no one's stopping me from beatboxing, except myself, right? So, no beatboxing tonight, but, you know, I guess it's about, like, the adventure, and that's what I love about live music, I guess, and I try not to I've learned to live with the anxiety of, like, putting the set list together as close to the moment as possible, to represent like who I am in that exact moment and just be here and be present with these people and share an experience that feels unique to this day, kind of thing.
Yeah, I love that, because I think what I've seen in doing this series is that's been all the artist's approach, and something spectacular that the artist didn't expect seems to always happen. And I certainly hope you enjoy many moments like that tonight. So I'll close with, you know, you play a lot of big venues with Mount Joy. I think tomorrow is 2,500 cap. We're 400 in here. I talk about it as a community living room, and it's intimate. We were talking before, you know, there's no fourth wall here. There's no photo pit. You know, we're sitting right now in the second row, and you're going to be right there. So there's, you know, I think what I've seen is there's a different exchange that can happen. Or we were talking about, you know, how's the audience going to be? And I said to you, well, they're definitely going to sing along, but if you want them to stand up, you're probably going to have to invite them to. So, you know, what are you looking forward to within that exchange in terms of how different it is to be in such an intimate space versus the large venues you usually play with the band?
I think, like, personally, that's one thing I'm just pushing myself to get better at, is part of, I think, being, like, the singer or the front man of a band, or the person with a microphone, even in those really huge spaces, is about, like, okay, I've worked really hard, the band and I have worked really hard to, like, get really good at playing these songs. And we often transition from one song into the next, and the whole thing can sort of be, you know, one big song, as other famous bands have coined. But but there is also this important thing, I think, as a fan of music, where it is cool to like hear a story. To like learn something you wouldn't learn at a Mount Joy show, kind of thing. And I think that this is actually the best place for me to like become a better entertainer. And this is like a great outlet for me to do that, to become more comfortable in front of more intimate crowds. Those are the scarier crowds to interact with. You know, if you're at Lollapalooza and there's 40,000 people, there's not a whole lot I can really say to a sea of people. I'm not going to tell a long story. It's just that people are there to dance and hear music. It's a different thing. Whereas this forces me to be thoughtful about where the songs maybe came from, or I don't know, like you said, roll with something weird. A crowd member says something funny, and you know, there's a bit of spontaneity and building up that confidence, I think, is really important to me. So I'm excited.
Cool. Well, we're so excited to have you here. Thank you for being here. I'm going to let you get to it. We're just about half an hour before show, so thank you for your time this close to curtain, and we can't wait for the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Quinn, everybody.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.